Welcome to Live Life Happy Book Club. I'm Andrea Seydel, and I help people read, write, and publish books. And today we have such a practical and life-changing book for you, Mind Over Mood. Change how you feel by changing the way you think. This is by Dennis Greenberger and Kristen A. Podesky. This is an amazing book. I know I say that all the time about all the books that I read, but I love this one. This one's so good because how great is that title, Mind Over Mood? What if we could take the control of our emotions, take control of the stress in our life, and shift our mindset in a way that's transforming our life, that's transformative for us? And that's exactly what Mind Over Mood teaches us. So, based on cognitive behavior therapy, this book really does offer us powerful tools to help you break any of those negative thought patterns. I don't know about you, but sometimes do you ruminate? Do you go down a negative thought pattern at times? Are you human? So, yes, so this is a book that helps create a healthier, more balanced mindset. So, if you're looking to understand your emotions and reshape your thinking, this is the book for you. So, let's meet the authors. Dr. Dennis Greenberger is a psychologist and expert in cognitive behavior therapy, specializing in anxiety, depression, and emotional well being. Dr. Kristen A. Podesky is a clinical psychologist and internationally recognized CBT trainer, cognitive behavior therapy trainer. And together they created Mind Over Mood to help people apply scientifically backed strategies to improve mental health and daily happiness. So let's look at what's inside this book. This book introduces practical cognitive behavior therapy techniques. It helps us change our negative thoughts and manage emotions more effectively. And they do walk us through many key concepts. So, some is about this idea of understanding the thought emotion connection and how our thoughts shape our feelings and behaviors. So they really do help us see that connection. So how our thoughts shape our feelings and behaviors. And so they also talk about identifying negative thinking patterns. So recognizing cognitive distortions. I love this part because we don't even sometimes realize what we're doing, but we might be catastrophizing, or we might be thinking black or white thinking, or we might be really self critical. So we need to know how to identify our negative thinking patterns in order to just recognize these distortions. And then they do talk all about challenging and restructuring our thoughts. So, by replacing negative thoughts with more balanced, realistic ones. And then also, they talk about developing healthier emotional responses. So, learning strategies to handle things like stress, like anxiety, and depression. And it's almost like removing yourself from the thought or looking at the thought and zooming out the lens from a perspective of observing what's the thought that's making me feel this way, and how can I better manage this, like what's my thinking going on here. So developing a healthier emotional response they talk about in the book, and learning strategies to deal with stress, anxiety, depression, and then also creating an action plan for that change to happen. So setting more realistic goals for personal growth and for our well-being, creating that action plan. So when we're put into certain circumstances or challenges, that we're equipped to deal with them. So building that emotional resilience. They talk about using cognitive behavior therapy tools to help with our emotional strength. So this book really does include so much. It's like I'm just scratching the surface here, but it really does teach us how to apply cognitive behavior therapy. And one of the lessons, how we can apply this, one of the most powerful exercises from Mind Over Mood is this thought record. This is a great idea. So it can help you analyze and shift negative thinking patterns. So, what you can do is you can identify a situation, perhaps write down a recent event that maybe triggered a negative emotion. And remember, negative emotions aren't all bad, they're telling us something. So, let's look at that. Like, what are the thoughts that cause that reaction, those negative emotions. So, first we want to identify the situation. So, write down a recent event that triggered a negative response. Write it down. And then you're going to record your automatic thoughts. What thoughts immediately came to mind? So, recording those automatic thoughts. Now, we say they're automatic, like it becomes almost second nature. Like those thoughts seem like they're automatic. So, what thoughts immediately come to mind? And then note your emotions. How did those thoughts make you feel? And then, so just to create a little bit of distance, you want to rate your emotion, maybe on a percentage scale, like, 100% super hot, like rate your emotion. How did the thought make you feel? So note your emotions and rate them. And then examine the evidence. I love this. And we call this taking your thinking to court. So ask yourself, is this thought 100% true? So examining your thought, is this thought 100% true? What evidence supports or contradicts this thought? And so this is like taking your thinking to court. And then what we want to do is develop a more balanced thought. So replace the negative thought with a more rational, compassionate, realistic one. So you develop a balanced thought to help with this and it helps you balance. So, and then reassess your feelings. So notice how your emotions shift when you change your thinking. So by regularly practice this, you can rewire your brain for more positive and balanced thinking. So what we want to do is identify that situation, write down a recent event that triggered a negative emotion, and then record your automatic thoughts. What thoughts immediately came up for you? And then note your emotions. What were the emotions? How did those thoughts make you feel? So, thinking that that man cut you off. So, maybe you got upset because a car cut you off. And then, so the thought is that that man shouldn't have been pulling out. And the emotion is frustration, annoyance, right? So you can see how naming the emotions, frustration, annoying, it's like about an 80% here. And then examine the evidence. Ask yourself, is this thought 100% true? Did that man cut me off? Right? Or, is there another way of looking? Is there maybe he's in a rush? Maybe he didn't see me coming. Maybe he is an older driver. Maybe like there's so many things like options there. So examining the evidence, asking yourself, is that 100% true? Did he cut me off? And so what is the evidence that supports it? What's the evidence that contradicts it? And then developing a more balanced thought. So replacing that negative thought or that thought that created a negative response with a more rational, compassionate one. It's like, well, that man is clearly in more of a rush than I am, or that man pulled out because where he's going is really important and he's late or something like that. So this helps to develop a more balanced approach, and you can practice it on things that don't create such a heightened triggered emotional response, and then reassess how you feel. It feels a better feeling thought is that that is an older gentleman, or he's in a rush to get somewhere, I better let him go, kind of thinking. And by regularly practicing this, we can rewire our brain for more positive and balanced thinking. And this is so powerful. So the way that we think influences how we feel, which in turn affects how we live. And so by taking control of our thought patterns, we really can help ourselves reduce stress, improve relationships, and just create more fulfilling life as well as more happiness and emotions of happiness. So think about it. How often has a negative thought held you back or caused a negative emotion in you? What if you could replace them with more empowering, compassionate, more constructive thoughts? Wouldn't it be more powerful? So, if there's one thing to take away from mind over mood, it's this: you have the power to change your emotions by changing your thoughts. So, through this intentional practice, you can cultivate a healthier, more positive mindset and transform your well being. So, which negative thought pattern do you want to challenge today? Try using this thought record exercise and see how it can shift your perspective. So that's about it. Until next time, helping you live life happy, I'm Andrea Seydel, and see you in a next meeting for another amazing book discussion.